Great achievements often seem impossible to attain, but on achieving them, those who do will tell you it's nothing more than doing what is needed and giving it your best. Hey there, I'm Tamara McHale. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. Coming up on the pages, we look at how women and girls can win the battle against cervical cancer. Plus, measures farmers can adopt to be more resilient against climate change. And still to come, the benefits of drinking milk and top government stories making news this week. So sit back and relax for those and more after these messages.
I remember when I didn't like school and Mommy used to have to wake me up. Tabla, hurry up. You're going to be late for school.
Hey, now that I have a tablet, you don't need to wake me up. Since Mommy and Daddy bought me a tablet, I use my tablet for all kinds of cool stuff. I use my tablet to read books. I use my tablet to learn about history and science. I use my tablet to help with my homework. I even use it to talk to my daddy at work. Hello, Daddy!
Learning is easy and fun with a tablet. Take care of your tablet, use it wisely.
Cancer of the cervix is now considered easier to treat and prevent. Through regular medical examination, this type of cancer, which affects both women and girls, can be detected early, successfully treated, or prevented. We learn more in this feature.
It's an awful multiplication of cells out of the normal that take over your system rather than the normal cells. That's what it is.
According to the Ministry of Health, in 2010, 3,198 persons died of cancer, accounting for 24% of all deaths in Jamaica. The common types found in women are cancers of the breast, cervix, and colon. On the other hand, cancer of the prostate, lung, and stomach are more common in men. The good news is doctors say that these illnesses are largely avoidable. And the doctors say prevention and early detection are our best defenses, even while the level of treatment and care is improving. In addition to promoting healthier lifestyle, government and its private sector partners are revolutionizing the gamut of care, with 2 linear accelerator machines purchased to provide timely and efficient access to cancer care treatment. Our most vulnerable patients are targeted to have access at no cost at centers of excellence being established at the St. Joseph's Hospital and the Cornwall Regional Hospital.
Changes in standard of living, introduction of screening methods, and public health education and promotion have impacted the distribution of cancer seen in Jamaica over the years. This trend is expected to continue, at least in the short term, as public health education increases and screening becomes more widespread.
In the case of cervical cancer, caused by a viral infection from the human papilloma virus HPV, the pap smear is considered the best screening method to date.
And the reason for this is that a screening method should be able to find a disease before it has become established, find it in the precancerous phase, be easily accessible, not very invasive, inexpensive, and universally available. The pap smear satisfies all of that sort of criteria.
The pap smear is not an actual test for cancer, but rather a test to detect the presence of any abnormal cells with the potential to develop into cancer. The result from this painless process is used to inform decisions about what treatment to apply to prevent cancer from developing.
A sample of cell is taken, sometimes even with a little brush, so there's no scraping and clipping on all of that like what the perception is out in the street.
Squamous cells, which are cells lining outer layers in areas such as the lung, hand middle, mouth, vagina, and cervix, are usually affected by the human papilloma virus. The virus gets to the cervix during intercourse and has the ability to transform the normal cells into precancerous ones.
You hardly ever get cervical cancer in women who have never had sex. From the getting the virus to getting cervical cancer can take 15 years or more.
The recommendation is for annual screening to detect, monitor, and treat with any incidents or progression that might be taking place.
The next reason for annual checks is that there is no test that is 100%. all tests have false positive and false negative. You could do a smear and it is normal, but something is there. But if you keep doing it, it will pick up something.
Abnormal smears can be treated in the precancerous stage by methods that include freezing, cauterization using electricity, and what is called the loop. That is, removing the bad area and having what is called a cone to abort the process. Where cancer has developed, treatment will involve radiotherapy and chemotherapy and possibly major surgery. In an aggressive move to reduce local cervical cancer cases, the government of Jamaica has taken a decision to introduce human papillomavirus HPV vaccines to protect against high-risk strains of this family of viruses. HPV vaccines are recommended for preteen girls and boys ages 11 to 12, providing immune protection from the virus before exposure.
We have two types. We have one that they call bivalent. It vaccinates against two types of HPV, 16 and 18, because HPV are numbered. And there is one that is quadrivalent that vaccinates against 6, 11, 16 and 18. 6 and 11 vaccinate against genital warts, while 16 and 18 vaccinate against 70% of cervical cancer.
There is a new vaccine yet to be introduced that vaccinates against 9 types of HPVs. This has the potential to prevent up to 90% of cervical cancers.
We are going to do better when we have the cervical cancer HPV vaccines.
Take the necessary actions to stay healthy. Get screened yearly, eat well, exercise, and get vaccinated.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
Government continues to strengthen agricultural resilience to climate change impact through adaptation measures and improved climate data management. Farmers are being provided with information so they can plan better and reduce the impact of disasters. Take a look.
Climate change, defined as extended changes in weather patterns, continues to be a top priority for government.
The belief that climate change and environmental issues only affect some of us and is a problem for the distant future is a misconception. Climate change affects us all. When drought ravages our crops and there are outbreaks of bushfires, we all pay higher prices at the market.
And through the Office of the Prime Minister, stakeholders continue to boost Jamaica's response to climate change. One focus area, climate change and the agricultural sector. The agricultural sector is significant to Jamaica's economy, contributing over 6.5% to the country's gross domestic product. It also creates employment, feeds the nation, saves foreign exchange through the importation of less food items, and provides raw material to those in the agro-processing sector. Through the Jamaica Rural Economy and Ecosystems Adapting to Climate Change JAREACH 2 project, initiatives continue to help farmers mitigate against climate change so that the agricultural sector is not severely affected. The project is funded by the United States Agency for International Development and implemented by the Government of Jamaica.
USAID, through the JAREACH 2 project, will continue efforts to enhance Jamaica's adaptive capacity to climate change through the provision of increased access to information that aids decision-making.
And so JAREACH 2 is helping to strengthen the capacity of the Meteorological Service of Jamaica so they can provide extensive climate data to farmers through the Climate Smart Agricultural tool. Why? Some farmers in Jamaica depend on rainfall, and with a change in rainfall patterns, there has to be a change in farming practices.
Our Climate Smart tools will allow us to have longer lead time, like 3 to 6 months if we're looking at drought forecast, And it also allows us to look at forecasts at a community level, something that we never used to do before. And now we're doing this first in Jamaica and first in the region.
With that information, farmers can determine what to do, when to do it, where to do it, and in the case of crops, what types are more suitable for planting during a specific period.
We have a database now with over 600 farmers in there that will send them free text messages whenever there is a pending drought, whenever there is a flood.
So what has been the impact? A survey showed that farmers who received and used the information were better able to respond to recent drought conditions. For those who were not exposed to the information, their production was negatively impacted by about 72%.
Compared to a farmer who attended the Farmers Forum, was exposed to the drought tool, the impact on his production was just about 39%. So right away you see where the tool is actually working.
To strengthen the system, the Met Office is moving to collect more information to pass on to farmers.
So we intend to increase the number of weather stations, and this will increase the forecast that we have going out on a monthly basis.
A memorandum of understanding was signed in March 2016 to install 36 additional automated weather stations across the island. The $18 million project will benefit over 500 farmers under the JAREACH program. The stations will be managed by the Met Office, the National Irrigation Commission, and the Rural Agricultural Development Authority. So government, through a partnership with various stakeholders, is working to minimize the impact of climate change on the agricultural sector, collecting the information, passing it on to farmers, developing policies, and working to implement best practices that will benefit society.
There is no doubt that the future strategies to deal with climate change will depend upon sound knowledge of past and present climate in our nation and in our region. Together, we must all recommit to adapting to and mitigating the impacts of climate change.
For more information on Jamaica's climate, visit agrilinksja.com and jamaicaclimate.net.
On the board this week, CIPS Toastmasters Club is inviting the public to its bi-monthly Thursday meeting on September 22 at 3A Richmond Avenue, Kingston 10, across from Webster's Memorial on Halfway Tree Road. Starting time 5:45 p.m. The Trinity Moravian Church will be having its annual health fair on the church ground at 29 Montgomery Avenue, Kingston on Saturday, September 24 between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Citizens are invited to come out and access free services including blood pressure and blood sugar tests, medical services, spiritual care, and counseling services. As part of its overall surveillance of Zika and Zika-related effects, the Ministry of Health has indicated that all microcephaly, Guillain-Barré syndrome, GBS, and neurological conditions that may be related to Zika virus infection are to be reported on suspicion to the Parish Health Department or the National Surveillance Unit at the Ministry of Health. Invitations are now open for entries to all Jamaica Cultural Development Commission JCDC competitions for 2017. These competitions include the Jamaica Culinary Arts Competition, Jamaica Visual Arts Competition and Exhibition, Jamaica Creative Writing Competition and Exhibition, Jamaica Adult and Children's Gospel Song Competitions, Jamaica Festival Song Competition, Miss Jamaica Festival Queen Competition, World Reggae Dance Championship, and National Festival of the Performing Arts, which covers the areas of dance and deaf dance, drama, music, speech, and traditional folk forms. Entry forms as well as additional information for the various competitions can be accessed online at the JCDC website, jcdc.gov.jm, and at the JCDC head office, 3 to 5 Phoenix Avenue, Kingston 10, and all JCDC parish offices island-wide. And that's all for our community notices today. Send us your events for broadcast on the JIS Community Notice Board. Call 922-868-022 or send an email to cbishop@jis.gov.jm.
We want a productive Jamaica. We are not productive. man. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity is the way to go for all us Jamaicans. Small business, big business, old and young, we are tell every woman and man. We want growth and prosperity for a better nation with a building plan. So we can build our product and sell our product and put more money in our hand. Our economy can rise to a level and build a better nation. Productivity, to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity, to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity.
Productivity, pathway to prosperity. A message brought to you by the Jamaica Productivity Center, a department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Increasing milk production and consumption locally is important both for the health of the population as well as the economy. The benefits of milk are many.
Hazelnut brown, white, spotted, horns or not, they produce that nutritious substance which makes strong bones and teeth. There is a drive on to have Jamaicans drinking more local cow's milk. For the last few decades, the consumption of Jamaica's cow's milk has declined significantly. The annual production of local milk has dropped from 600 farmers producing 38.8 million litres in 1992 to less than 200 farmers supplying approximately 12 million litres in 2015. At the same time, the consumption of milk and milk substitutes account for more than 60 million litres annually, 90% of it imported.
At what point we were able to say, but I don't think it was really a glut. It was the importation of the cheap milk powder. I know the milk powder doesn't have to be refrigerated. They were overlooking the nutritional value of cow's milk.
The decline in local milk consumption has affected several areas, causing a high import bill and a decline in employment opportunities.
I experienced milk a whole cooler, and I'm talking about like 300 gallons of milk. And you have to just run it down the drain like that. And when you throw the milk, you still have to pay the workers, still have to pay electricity, still have to pay all your bills. Because you can't go to nobody who tells you have to throw the milk.
It also affects the cows, as the decline in consumption causes fewer milking sessions, forcing the breasts to become painful from an excess of milk. Despite the perils of the industry, there are farmers who refuse to be cowed by the appeal of cheaper imports. Oral Wallace is one such farmer who has put his life on the line to stay in the dairy business.
It was started in about 1969 by my father, Mr. Rupert Wallace, and my mom, Miss Pansy Wallace. They bring it up to about the year 2000 when I took over, for about 2002. The major challenge for dairy farmers, I think, is period lasting. Because at night I can't sleep. I have to be up there. They make after me 2 times, I think about within about 3 months period. And they came with their guns, but I had to take cover, and afterward they were evaded. Milk industry, it's basically you have to be a lover of dairying to be in it, because the dairy industry is not an easy road.
Gulping the white substance to the last sip will be a daily routine for every Jamaican if these entities have their way. 4 companies have formed a partnership to revive the island's dairy industry under what's called the Drink Real Milk campaign. The government-owned Jamaica Dairy Development Board, CB Group through its subsidiary Nutrimix, Separate Limited with its Surge Island Dairies, and Newport for San Jamaica Limited have come together to increase the production and consumption of Jamaican milk over the next 10 years. The target is to produce 20 million litres annually.
The industry itself was really degenerating quite significantly. It's a cause for concern for everybody.
The partners aim to overhaul the industry on 2 levels, production and consumption. The production strategy seeks to improve access to better genetic material, enhance animal health, and institute customized feeding programs and proper pasture management. The Jamaica Dairy Development Board has stepped in boldly to help in this area.
The Dairy Sector Revitalization Project, flagship project or activity is the concessionary loan program, where farmers have difficulty in accessing loans at reasonable rates. So we have instituted a program where we allow farmers funds, loans through the Jamaica Dairy Development, the DBJ, Development Bank of Jamaica and its affiliates, where farmers can access loans at the rate of 5%, which is quite competitive. There's a 5 million threshold for the individual borrower. And for corporate entities, it's 10 million.
The Dairy Board has also committed more than $20 million to deal with prairie larceny in partnership with the Agriculture Ministry. On the consumption side, the campaign seeks to encourage purchasing of fresh, locally produced milk to support the island's farmers, promoting the health benefits of drinking milk and sharing additional benefits of drinking cow's milk versus powdered milk.
Over the past few years, milk has been a little bit quiet, and so everyone else, all the milk substitutes have been in your face and telling you, oh, you know, you should drink us instead. But the reality is, there's nothing like real milk, and what we're trying to get people to understand as well is drink Jamaican real milk.
Once you let the people aware of the nutritional values of it, it will go right back up. I was almost born on a farm, and from I've born, I've been drinking cow's milk. And do I look sick? Not at all.
Supporting the local milk industry provides jobs, increases the country's economic wealth, and nourishes our bodies. Persons interested in entering dairy farming may contact the Jamaica Dairy Development Board at 618-7107 or 927-1731-50.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash, no paper, no dash, no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep
eat.
the island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica. No dirty up Jamaica. No dirty up Jamaica. No dirty up Jamaica.
Up next, top stories making news this week.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. Prime Minister Andrew Holness confirmed to Parliament on Tuesday that government had awarded Jamaica's third domestic mobile spectrum license to Symbiote Investments Limited, operators of Carousel, the island's first fully Jamaican-owned service provider. It follows a report by the Office of the Contractor General advising against awarding the license as a result of adverse traces on one of the company's directors.
The adverse traces cited in the special OCG report related to information gathered as far back as 2009, that the police have advised that the party in question is not currently the subject of any investigation. Non-issuance of the spectrum license in the circumstances would be tantamount to a revocation of the grant of the said license and would be in violation of the principles of natural justice.
He also revealed that Cabinet would be implementing several recommendations for strengthening the regulation of the telecom sector. The Prime Minister also informed Parliament this week that steps were being taken to rectify the adverse findings from an audit of the Factories Corporation of Jamaica FCJ, including hiring a new board.
The FCJ can be an engine of growth, and the board has been charged to move with alacrity to get these projects off the ground. Work has started on the infrastructure for phase 1 of the 120,000 square feet Nagohead Tech Park, and that would mean, Mr. Speaker, that there will be more employment in the business process management sector. Mr. Speaker, they have commenced work on the rehabilitation of the Garmex Free Zone complex, and that is going apace.
He promised to provide an update on a similar audit carried out at the Port Authority of Jamaica in 2 weeks' time. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck announced that the committee set up by the Prime Minister to review the recommendations from the West Kingston Commission of Inquiry had submitted its first report to Cabinet. The report from the committee, which is chaired by Minister Chuck, is the first of several periodic submissions on how to implement the 15 recommendations that are contained in the Commissioner's findings from the inquiry. Co-chair of the Economic Program Oversight Committee, Richard Biles, says Jamaica's economic growth indicators continue to show positive results.
So the NIR at the end of August stood at $2.5 billion, and that is versus a target of $1.44 billion for September. So even compared to the September target for the IMF, our NIR at $2.5 billion is way ahead of that number. The primary balance is at $36.4 billion, which is considerably ahead of the target of $14.2 billion.
The National Water Commission has signed a $1 million grant agreement this week with the United States Trade and Development Agency to help fund a 1-year energy efficiency and renewable energy project. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Dr. Horace Chang, says the project will assist in reducing the approximately $5 billion that the NWC spends on electricity each year.
If we can reduce that, it means that we'll have more capital for investment. We can expand the services and do so in a very timely manner and ensure that our people have potable water at an affordable cost, and we can treat the wastewater in the way we should.
The Bustamante Hospital for Children has received a new $68.5 million fluoroscopy unit to improve its diagnostic services.
Modernizing our approach, modernizing our equipment is fundamental, and today I think is the start of that process.
Financed by the National Health Fund, the unit is expected to reduce the processing time for X-rays from 90 to 15 minutes. Education Minister Senator Roel Reid was this week forced to intervene in an incident at the Petersfield High School where a 12-year-old boy was denied entry due to non-payment of auxiliary fees. Warning that he had a zero-tolerance approach to schools that disobeyed the guidelines abolishing mandatory payment of auxiliary fees, Minister Reid ordered that the boy be allowed to resume classes. And finally, during an interview with JIS News, the Education Minister revealed that a grooming policy for public and private schools would be implemented by the 2017-2018 academic year.
I have given instructions to my Permanent Secretary to get the National Council on Education to begin an island-wide stakeholder consultation, and that will inform me as to the crafting of the policy, which we are hoping to get a feedback on all of that by the end of March 2017, so that ahead of the next school year, there will be a very clear policy guidelines for the entire education system regards to hairstyle, grooming, and dressing generally.
And those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Search for its breeding sites and destroy them. A message from the Ministry of Health, sponsored by the NHF.
And this is where we take our leave on yet another enlightening edition of Jamaica Magazine. We value your feedback, so keep the link through our various social media platforms. Send an email to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm and visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for the latest on government information. Until next time, I'm Tamara McHale, reminding you to take care of your health, eat well, exercise, get adequate rest, and make every day a productive one.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.